everyone, and welcome to Cooking with the Mo. Today I have something very healthy and very delicious coming your way. We're going to start with a veggie Alfredo stuffed shells. We're going to cut our vegetables, put them in a pan with a little olive oil, seasoning, stuff the shells, make a little Alfredo with heavy cream sauce, put it on top of the shells, and voila, delicioso. So I have some spinach here that I'm going to get the chopping. I don't really use measurements. I just go with the flow because I like spinach, and spinach is good for you, so you can never have too much spinach. So I'm going to get the chopping that up a little fine, and once we put it in the pan, it's going to shrivel up anyway, but still want to chop it up because whole pieces of spinach can be a pain in the butt, and we don't want pain, we want pleasure. So I take that, put it in one big bowl, and then once we're finished, we're going to take all the veggies that we've chopped up in this bowl and put them in the pan. So we have spinach, and then we have a orange bell pepper. We're going to get that de-seeded, if that's even a word. Get these seeds out, which if you're at home and you're making this, you could take your seeds and grow more bell peppers instead of going to the grocery store and continuing to spend money. But you know, some of us don't think like that. We could be our own home gardeners. Isn't it cool that we can grow fruits and vegetables from seeds that we bought from the store? Like, that's wonderful. But yeah, we're gonna get to cupping that up. It doesn't matter how fine that's chopped because, like I said, everything is gonna get cooked down anyway. And I like to use whole bell peppers because, you know, it's good to have leftovers, and then sometimes you can take that extra vegetables. I've taken leftover vegetables and made nachos with it. I've, you know, made a soup base with it. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do with already cooked vegetables. Hell, you can even put it in a taco shell with cheese, and there you go. Last half of the bell pepper, we're gonna get it cut and tossed into the bowl with its cousins. Now, if you're like me, you just like to hurry up and get it all done, you can chop it all at once. Or you can just split it in half. Some large pieces in here, so I'm just going around and making sure I get those down. Put it in a bowl with the rest of our veggies. Now we have the yellow. I'm gonna get that cut. Now that is another way that you can do it. Chop it in half and then take the knife all the way around. Take the seeds out for you. And plus, the more colors, the better it looks. You know, they always say eat the colors of the rainbow, which the rainbow looks good. We're gonna take this other half and chop it. Don't worry, if your counter is clean like mine, then you have no problem eating off of it. So now we have our red bell pepper. We're gonna get that chopped up, put it in the bowl with the rest of the rainbow. I didn't realize how important it was to eat the colors of the rainbow until I got a little bit older. Growing up, you know, we cut up bell peppers just because we needed it in the dressing, not because it was a certain color. So I didn't realize how important it was to have greens and oranges and reds and all of that until I got older. And then I started experimenting with food. I started just taking random vegetables that was in my refrigerator. It's like, ooh, what can I make with this? And next thing you know, I'm making veggie Alfredo stuffed shells. So we have red, orange, yellow bell peppers, and spinach so far. I'm gonna get started on the broccoli, and then we're gonna move to the green onions, habanero peppers, and the garlic, and then we're gonna put it all in the pan. Now, when it comes to veggies, you can be very experimental with them. Like I said, I didn't start experimenting with food until I got a little older. But I've always been the veggie cutter. So when my mom was making spaghetti, who was on chopping onions duty? I was. When it was time for the dressing, who was chopping up the garlic and the onions and the bell pepper? I was. When it was time for the greens, who was picking them and cleaning them? I was. Now when it comes to broccoli, I'm a little weird when I cut it. I like to cut it at the bottom because once you split it at the stems, the broccoli is really going to go whichever way you want it. So I cut the stems off and I chop it upside down. Now, if I do want the broccoli crowns to be more separated, I will chop it up. However, when you chop it upside down, always bring that frown upside down. And then with broccoli too, as you cook it, it kind of breaks up on its own. The more you cook it, the more tender it gets, the more it breaks down. So it's always good, even if you don't want it finely chopped, just to have it finely chopped. Especially for this recipe, we're going to be stuffing the shells. So the broccoli needs to be fine enough with the rest of the vegetables so that it can fit in the shells. Now we have our green onions. I'm going to take off some of that skin that's a little soft and mushy. Chop off a little of the ends because that's not what we're going to use, and then we're just going to chop it whole. Green onions I love. I fell in love with green onions by eating Chinese food. First time I had it, I was like, I have to have more. Now every time I get a veggie fried rice or something that has green onions, I always want extra. And plus, green onions are good for you. And they're not as strong as red onions. And they're just downright good. You just chop it whole. Doesn't matter which end you start from or how you want to chop it. Green onions is good for everything and anything, really. You can put it in whatever you want, whenever you want. Hell, you could even cook it whole if you want to. Ain't no shame in your game. So I'm just going to use 2 of those for now. And now I'm going to get to my garlic, which I love garlic. I love garlic. I don't care if it makes my breath stink. I think it's good. And plus it's healthy for you anyway. So you can never go wrong with having a lot of garlic. And to keep the vampires away, those fuckers. So I'm going to go ahead and get that chopped up. Do a chop it the long way and then the short way. And then do that all around the world chopping thing I like with the knife. I can't remember the exact name of the technique, but whoever came up with that is a genius. And then while that's cooking, I'm also going to put my shells in the water. Now, when I take my shells out, I'm going to want them completely done. I'm going to stuff them immediately and just put the sauce right over it. There's no oven, none of that. Just put the veggies in the shells and then put the sauce over it, and then you'll have your veggie stuffed Alfredo. And this piece of garlic is giving me a hard time. I guess it's mad it got separated from his family. But it's okay, you all going in the same place, in my belly. Then we're going to chop up more garlic for our cream sauce. So this is going to be enough for now. We're just going to take that, put it in a bowl. Now, even though veggies have their own taste, I'm going to season it. Look at that rainbow. That is the most beautiful rainbow you will ever see. And now it made me remember I'm missing a color. Purple. Now, I love onions just as much as I love garlic. Growing up, I ate onion raw. My great-granddad, who's from Louisiana, he always made mayo and onion sandwiches. And I know some people may be like, ugh, but I was like, And I would eat it, and even to this day, I call him, I said, Granddad, you had any onion sandwiches today? Nah, baby, I ain't having it today. He's in a living facility, and apparently the nurses doesn't like it when he asks for onion and mayo sandwiches. so it's whatever. But I love onions. I don't care if it's purple, white, green, red, orange, turquoise, blue. I love onions. Now we have a rainbow. Now we have a rainbow. And then you also have to be careful with onions. I'm putting this in increments because even though we're gonna cook it down, sometimes red onions can still have that acidic taste even after it's been cooked. So I just want to be mindful, careful of how much of the onions you put in to your mix. But if you're a person like me, just go ahead and put the whole onion in there and say sorry to whoever you got to speak to later. So I'm going to season these, and then I'm going to season it again when I put it in the pot, because some of those seasonings will cook off. This look good. I could just eat this right now. So I have some turmeric, some white pepper, some red crushed flakes, some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is good for you too, so the more the merrier and the more healthier you'll feel indeed. Got some chili powder, some black pepper, mustard, and some lemon pepper. Mustard, ground mustard that is, and some black pepper. Now I know y'all like, man, that's gonna be spicy, but nah. Because as soon as those spices hit that pan and hit that skillet, you won't even know. Which is why I'm going to season it again when we put it in the bowl and the skillet. So this is all seasoned and delicious looking. If you wanted to, you could just put that on a plate, put a little olive oil, and that's a salad. So now we're going to put it in the pan. So now, and hot, gonna put some olive oil in it, and then we're gonna pour our vegetables in that hot skillet. Then I like to test it a little bit, because if it don't sizzle, it ain't ready. So once our vegetables are to my liking, I'm gonna take them out the pan and put the heavy cream in immediately. Now I'm not gonna wash the pan off because I want that seasoning from the vegetables to still be there. And that's also what's going to help flavor the heavy cream sauce for our Alfredos. The spinach hasn't withered all the way yet, but it's almost there. So we're going to leave those spices in there, and then we're going to add our heavy cream, about a cup. But again, this is also to your liking. So as much heavy cream sauce as you make, I double it per half cup. So if you want to feed 2 people, I put a cup. If you want to do more, then you do more. But it's also if you like sauce. If you like sauce like me, just use the whole thing. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to put a little bit more in here because as it thickens, I'm going to add cheese. And we're going to check on our shells, which are almost about ready. They are soft. And we don't want them mushy because that means they're overdone. So I'm going to take a spoon, mix up those veggies, because when I'm ready to stuff, all I want to do is open the shell. I have some pans here. So as I shells, I'm going to pick up a shell, put the veggies in it, put it in the pan, and when the Alfredo sauce is finished, just pour the Alfredo sauce right over it, and then we'll be done. Now, one thing about Alfredo sauce is you do have to monitor it, because even though it's cooking, it can stick, and then sometimes, you know, the top gets sealed and it sticks together and clumps form. So it's always a good thing to watch it. Now me, when I put the cream in the pan, I'll leave it for a second or two, that just because it's not doing any harm or damage. The cream just hit the pan. However, once you see those bubbles start to form, that's when you want to watch it. That's when the sticking starts to happen. That's when a good Alfredo sauce can turn into a bad Alfredo sauce. So it's very good to watch it. And even if it bubbles up a little too much, you can tell. You can eyeball it and tell, like, whoa, I need to turn it down, or whoa, I need to turn it up. So it's always a good thing to eyeball it. Even people who've been cooking Alfredo sauce for 30 or 40 years will say, you know what? Don't leave that sauce on advantage. So like you can see now, the bubbles are starting to form. Now, I'm gonna make this a little spicy. I have some habanero peppers. Which are more spicier than jalapenos. I am gonna cut them in half so that some of those seeds can escape, because we all know the trick to spice is the seed. So you can eat a whole pepper that's seedless. You probably have a sting, but it won't burn because those seeds aren't there. Now, one thing about habanero peppers, I cut those a little tedious, because like I say, the more seeds, the more spice. And I'm putting this directly in the Alfredo sauce. Directly, not in the shells, not in the veggie mix, directly in the Alfredo sauce. Alfredo sauce should be about ready. So this is what you say you leave it unattended. If you come back to your sauce and the bubbles are formed up, it's just about ready. But another thing too is if it has too many bubbles, that means it's too hot. So this is a sign to me that I need to turn it down. Again, this is how your good Alfredo sauce turns into bad Alfredo sauce. Now these shells are just about done. Just about. Now I'm gonna get that cold water running, because when they are done, all I want to do is get the stuff in immediately. Our heavy cream sauce is just about done. You know when it's done when you take a spoon, go down through it. The longer it takes the cream to stick back together is how thick your cream sauce will be. So if you run your spoon through the skillet and it runs back together like water, it's not thick. However, if that's how you like your sauce, then it's ready. So shells are ready. We take our shell. Some of them are already open, and you just put it in there. You just put them in your pan or your bowl or however you want to serve it. Now some of them may be a little harder. You might have to fight with it a little bit. You just open it up, put the veggies in. And you want to make sure you get a little bit of everything. You know, rainbow is good. Ooh, I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. And like I say, some of them do stick together and some of them are still hot. But if you can handle the heat, it ain't nothing but a thing. Uh-oh. Hold on. Okay. Like I said, these shells, and you can tell when the shell is ready too, because it fights with you. It's like, why are you touching me? Why are you opening me? Why are you stuffing me with vegetables that smell good? You know? So get them stuffed. You might have to fight with it, because I'm fighting with it. You know, just want to put them in there. So we have our shells, which have been stuffed. And we have our cream sauce, which is ready. So you can see how the orange from the habanero peppers have come in. You can also see it's thickened. We're going to do that test here. The longer it takes to come back together, the thicker it is. But I'm also moving the pan down. But it's thick. So you're literally just going to take it, pour it over the top. Now if you want to add cheese, you can. Just pour it over the top. And if you also want to put it in the oven That's cool too, however you want to do it. This is good. I'm ready to dig in. Now I'm going to leave this in the pan like this, just so it won't fall all over the place. But what I'm doing now, since some of the cream stuck to the pan, you just want to take the spoon. See, that's a lot of sauce. And you have veggie Alfredo stuffed shells. I'm ready to taste it now. We use broccoli, all the colors of the rainbow bell peppers, onions, green and red. As my girl from TikTok said, look at that. Veggie Alfredo stuffed shells topped with some cilantro. Come on, somebody. That's all I have for you all today. Thank you for watching.